up, everybody? Okay, just about done with a 10-hour break in Beaver, Utah. I have a dental appointment coming up Thursday, and I'm going to get this one hung up as well. Alright. So, turns out, now I have a dental appointment on Thursday afternoon, and I had concerns about whether I'd be able, hey, how's it going, James? Whether I'd be able to deliver that load and then get back to the house from my appointment on time. So I asked about dropping in the San Bernardino drop yard or swapping or something, and then it turned out there's actually a driver just 3 miles away from here. Yes, I am coming back to Cali. Yeah, just within the last hour, I ended up getting set up with a swap. At first he thought I was in the same place, but no, I'm at that Chevron, or near a Chevron in Beaver, Utah. I'm 3 miles south of the Flying J here in town, and I'm going to be swapping loads with a driver who's in at the Flying J. He doesn't have hours. I guess he has nothing on a 70-hour clock, so he can't make on-time delivery of his load, and helps me out. Hey, how's it going, Jesse? You guys on your way back to Oklahoma, I take it? I saw you guys were in Colton yesterday, I think. From our secret countryside base. So yeah, I literally just got my clock back right now, so I'm gonna go on duty. I need to roll fast, or at least get going with that. I'm gonna have to be quick with the swap too. Alright, so my plan for today is swap. Yeah, let's see what else today. Alright, Jesse in New Mexico now. Okay, and on your way back to Oklahoma. Like exploring it in general. Alright, tell me a little beam fall. Oh, I need to make sure my ringer's turned up. Hang on. Okay. I got brakes released. I'm not moving yet. I'm going to do what's called a DOT brake check. But, hang on. Actually, let's do it this way. Let's make sure the compressor works. I know it does, but to show you guys, I'm looking at these gauges here. I want to see it. The governor is supposed to cut in by the time it gets below 105. Now, it went below 100 because I already had the engine running. I have my foot on the brake pedal. Now, this is part of the brake check here, is to make sure that that the governor cuts out at about 130 psi. It's 120. Okay, did you hear that? Just psst. Okay, that was my governor cutting out, or the air compressor cutting out, whatever you want to call it. Alright, now a couple other checks I want to do is applied pressure. So what I'm going to do is release both brakes, or I'm going to step on them. Now I'm also supposed to have the engine off when I do this, because they're not supposed to have the governor trying to cut back on. They're supposed to hold the brakes for about a minute. Okay, so see, it's about 91 or so. If I hold this for about a minute, it shouldn't lose more than 4 psi. This is with both brakes released. Got to have air going to the systems. And it doesn't look like it's even budging, so that's a really good sign. If I want to do the entire check, then I'll go ahead and do the full minute, but you can tell already that it's going to pass. If it's not even budging after 15, 20 seconds, whatever, it's not, yeah, I'm not going to fail it. I'm at 91 and I can get down to 87, it's not even going to come close. So now I'm going to hit, okay. And that's one of the things, got to make sure the warning lights and buzzers come on by a certain time, and then the brakes automatically pop out when it gets down into about the 20 to 40 psi range, or 25, 40, whatever it is. All right, so that's just how to do a DOT brake inspection. Now let's now that that's done. Yeah, the last part we often will call it the pop-out check. Make sure the parking brakes actually both set on automatically. Yeah, definitely less instruments in an airliner. Yeah, you must have been on here when I was talking about that yesterday with how, because someone asked on Quora if do pilots know what every single gauge and switch and whatever control on an aircraft, like a large aircraft, does. I was like, yeah, they better hope they do. Yeah, I want to be quick because I need to hurry up and get down there. And I'm going to do an 8-2 split at home more than likely. Top off the blinker fluid. It really runs out. Okay, so this other driver's load is going to City of Commerce and to Compton. probably doing him a big favor because everybody hates going to the Ralphs in Compton. It's the backing is tight. But I don't care. He's doing me a favor too. Because I can get unloaded sooner. I think both his loads deliver tomorrow. One at 6 a.m. and the other one at noon. Technically, I'm going to have a 14-hour clock problem. So decided, it's only 500 miles. Actually, it's 490 from here to the first drop. And then it's not that far away from there to the second drop, but I have a 14-hour clock problem to deal with. So it doesn't matter if I leave now or if I leave just on time to get to the first drop. I'm still going to have a 14-hour clock problem. So decided I'm going to go ahead and leave right away and do an 8-2 split when I get home. And I'll still have my drive clock because rolling here. Get my gauges all set. Okay, so anyway, I can do an 8-2 split when I get down there and get rolling right away, and then what will happen is I'll recover 14-hour clock, but I will not recover drive time because I didn't do a 2-hour break during my last shift. But I'll have drive clock still remaining when I get home anyway. I have more than enough to get to the both customers, so that's not a concern. You're probably gonna go. You gotta turn left across my path anyway, even if you do go that way. Now with this going on, now I kind of wish I would have just stopped at the Flying J, so I'd be right there already. But now I had Dairy Queen on my mind when I figured when I parked over here last night, when I got up and got moving, I could get Dairy Queen, which I've already done, and then just get rolling. Well, that place does, I think it has room for trucks there. Yeah, I just gotta go right up to that next exit, the Flying J, to meet this guy. I've not seen this truck before, but I know it's going to be a Kenworth, the 4010 Bravo. Times last night when I was coming across 40 by 70 in Utah, my clutch was slipping. But I don't think it's from the clutch being worn. I think it's something else causing it, because sometimes my pedal, I do notice sometimes the pedal takes more force to operate than more like it typically should, and there are other times where it feels really loose. But I was getting symptoms of clutch slippage while trying to climb a couple of hills, but then when I would downshift or whatever, because I lost speed, didn't have any problems. And then if I have a bad clutch, then I'm gonna feel slippage even trying to accelerate like I just did. I know what a worn clutch feels like, and that that wasn't acting like a worn clutch. It was acting like I was pressing the clutch pedal down, even when I wasn't even touching it. My foot wasn't even on the pedal. It was down on the ground a few feet, about a foot or so away from the pedal. Alright, 4010 Bravo. All I know is he's over here at the Flying J. Okay, he might be that white one right there I see facing right at me. God damn it, and I hope that's not him because he's nosed in. So he's going to have to back out of his spot if that's the case. Yeah, that's really smart, dude. Nose into a spot when you know that you're needing a swap. I got good blinker fluid. Utah's top 10 Denny's. Wanted to go into fourth, but it was going a little too fast for it. Thought I was close enough, but I probably could have gotten into fourth, but I just didn't put my RPMs high enough to do so. All these damn lanes have to be occupied. Yeah, I think that white KW is the only JCT I've been seeing a lot, so I'm pretty sure it's going to be him. Oh, yeah, I see her right now. It's actually a woman outside the passenger door right now. guy just barely woke up. I think his wife was the one kind of doing touch-up work and stuff, and he's like still pretty out of it. So, yeah, I asked him, hey, just back your trailer up right over here. It doesn't matter. I'm gonna roll with it right away. See, right there, not anywhere in this open area, we're good. But, yeah, he must have been out pretty hard, because it took several minutes for, you know, even when his wife went up there to get his attention, it took several minutes for him to actually crawl out of bed. Like, come on, dude, you're fucking holding me up. I know it sucks getting your sleep disrupted for this kind of stuff, but it's a necessary evil. Got to get the load delivered. And the more of my time he wastes now, the less of my time I have to do an 8-hour sleeper berth period when I get down the hill. I did get down into Cali, and which puts me at more risk of not being able to get to the first drop on time. So I'm like, I don't need people putting unneeded time pressure on me like that when I already have kind of I should be okay, but I can't sit here and screwball around wasting time either. I do my screwballing around when I know that I have time to deal with and I'm already close to the receiver. Not here. So I got just about, I'll be on about 490 miles. Yeah, but I've been actually logged about 500 by the time I get down there. I think this guy's from the Phoenix area or something, because he's got a 520 area code number, and I know that I know it's Arizona, because when I was stationed in Tucson, I had a 520 area code. To this complication, the fact he's nosed in instead of backed in. He must have got here during the daytime or something, because I don't know if he, well, this isn't really the kind of spot. I don't recommend nosing into a spot at any time. Because if you got trucks parked on both sides of you, you can't see around them. Even if you go ahead and get out and look and see what's going on back there and then go back to your truck, the time between when you get from the back of your trailer back to the inside of your truck and start backing out, there could still be someone walking or driving by you, your trailer, when you start doing that. And if you have a backing accident, guess who's at fault? It's you. You did not yield to anybody, and yeah, that's all on you. Why put yourself in that situation when you can back into the spot and be able to see exactly what you're doing when you leave the spot? Because when you're backing into a spot, you already know there's nobody there. The only risk is maybe one of the trucks next to you pulling out, but even then, if you're paying attention, you can see the trailer on the blind side guy. Yeah, so if they start moving, you'll see that, and if they have any common sense at all, which some people don't, but then it's on them. Hey, you got out of your truck and got into the path of my trailer when you know damn well I was back in my trailer and cannot see you. That's on the person getting out of the truck, then, not on the person backing. Hey Terry, how you doing? Father's joked to me about learning how to drive in a motorhome, then you can drive smaller vehicles easily. Yeah, that's true. Or driving with the trailer, even with the trailer. I don't know if you guys saw at the end of my stream yesterday, there was a hot shot. Well, I don't think it was really a hot shot driver. I think it was just a recreational driver, we'll just call it. Because, now why I say that, he was configured like a hotshot driver, or a dually pickup with like a travel trailer hooked up. He parked right next to me, but he didn't have any. At least I didn't see. He didn't have any U.S. dot number or carrier information on the sides of his truck. So I'm pretty sure he was just a recreational driver based on that. But yeah, he had a little bit of a pain in the ass time getting into the spot. And I understand why, because when you're trying to push a trailer that's only about 20, 30 feet, whatever, into a spot, basically, okay, where the trailer hooks up to the pickup, to the axle, that's your turn radius. And the smaller the turn radius is, the more quickly the trailer will try to run away from you if you're not lined up straight on with it. And the trailer started to overcorrect and come toward my truck at first. So, and they couldn't chase it down fast enough. So he just did the same kind of correction that I was talking about almost doing myself when I was putting my own trailer in a spot, which is, just stop right away, go hard right and forward to square back up with the trailer, and you have room to work with, and the trailer doesn't try to run away from you either, or as quickly. So, it's a lot harder to back a trailer with a short wheelbase than it is to back a 53 up. 53, it's the problem is the lack of space to work with because they're longer, but they're more forgiving of steering myself. Bad steering habits, I'll say. What is this guy doing? For some reason, I think he's calling his dispatcher or something. Like, just get the fucking trailer backed up and out of the way. I'm gonna leave a message. Starting to piss me off. And I hate having to go into asshole mode, but I will. I don't really care. So look, dude, you either get your fucking trailer backed up and let me get out of here, or you can go ahead and deal with being late. I don't care. Nobody likes to go to Ralph's in Compton anyway, so if you don't want me doing you a favor, then go ahead and keep wasting my time. Because if you keep wasting my time, I'll take my trailer and go ahead and leave. I don't really care. Guys, I've never had a swap go be this annoying. I mean, the only time I've had a swap take this long, aside from just bullshitting with the other driver or something, was one time up in Ogden. The guy clearly had no backing skills. It took him several minutes just to even do a straight back backing, or kind of an offset straight back backing. I don't know what you want to call it, but like, seriously? Yeah, and then that same guy, he didn't know how to drop his airbags to get underneath the trailer that I had dropped, and I had to go over there and tell him how to drop his airbags so he can get underneath his trailer without having to crank the landing gear up. And that was a guy who was, he'd only been with us, I think, I don't know, a month or so. I forget how long he said it'd been, but he hadn't been with us very long, and he's one of those 6-month converts from Sierra England or whatever it was. Something along that line. Like, if you don't stay a full year with Sierra England, that already kind of, it tends to make me wonder about you. Doesn't necessarily mean anything bad. Could just be the money issue, but at the same time, if you can't hack it with a company for a 1-year contract, even as shitty, and knowing that the pay is going to be shitty, then yeah, that's another issue. I'm gonna have to call my DM and oh, look like he sent a message. Hang on. You gotta be fucking kidding me. This fucking guy's wasting my time. I'm just hooking my trailer back up. I don't mind, but I've been sitting here parked right next to him for about 15, 20 minutes now. Actually, his wife was in outside the truck at the passenger door doing stuff when I got here. She got his attention right away. He's fucking wasting my time. Yeah. Yeah, and I know. Yeah, and it seemed like he was asleep and didn't want to crawl out of bed for several minutes, and then he finally came out. I'm like, dude, I need to get rolling if I have a good chance of making his deliveries on time, because I need to do an 8-2 split so I can have time to work with on both. Right? Yeah. So and he's nosed into his spot. I'm right next to him. I told him all he has to do is back up, and then there's plenty of space over here. All he has to do is a 90-degree alley dock over into the road next to us, and then disconnect. And I was already disconnected and ready to grab his trailer, and I already had my bills in my hand when I came up to his door and everything. I'm like, I'm ready to go. Yeah, he can get the service failure on this for all I care. So if he's gonna fucking waste my time. Yeah, I mean, it's understandable if he's got no 70-hour clock to work with, but when there's a swap sitting right next to him, ready to go, where he can make that on time, to me, it sounds like it's going to turn into a service failure on him if he doesn't do it. Oh, he's starting to back out of his spot now, so. Yeah, I might as well. I was about ready to leave because I don't know what the hell is taking him so long. Not like he even got out of his truck. So, all right. Okay, all right. All right, I gotta disconnect my trailer again. Good. You good? Right there. Right there. You don't even have to go to a spot. Just get out of the way. Tell me this guy's loaded skilled.
This morning, and he just got here. He already called us people before he switched with you. So they just called him and asked him why he's not. He was just asleep when you went to talk to him.
Yeah, I was sitting there for 20 minutes. I've never had to.
Well, he has to take his time to wake up.
And my load doesn't deliver till Thursday night or Thursday morning at 10.
I understand that, but do you ever get tired driving on the road and you just decide to park somewhere to get some sleep?
Do you know how many times I've had to swap in the middle of my 10-hour break? A lot.
So easy.
So if you want...
They didn't send him a message and tell him he has to swap with you today.
Okay, my DM said that he talked to him on the phone before I even got here.
Well, I just want to give him some time to get himself fixed up. Because he has to call those people before he switch with you. That's what he was doing.
Doesn't need to call anybody. If he has a problem with the swap, then he can call. But if he's okay with doing the swap, it's just get the trailer moved and get out from under it and let's do it.
They're just talking right now. They're just talking.
I don't need to get held up for 20 minutes either. Don't fucking run your mouth with me. You're not even a fucking driver. You don't even know what the hell you're talking about, woman. I tried to get dropped in the drop yard. get my lock hooked up. The bracket that it goes on is messed up. Alright, they already got me dispatched on this one, it looks like. Okay. Miss Skillet, get out of here. Okay. Yeah, we're just in the parking lot. Alright, so let this be a lesson to you. If you're a trucker wife, keep your fucking nose out of the driver's business. If the driver, I know they got here at 4 a.m. from what she told me, but that's not an excuse to hold up a swap. They don't know what my time schedule's like. They don't know what's going on with how much my time's getting wasted by sitting here waiting to do a swap. And you don't have to do anything but put your fucking shoes on, back out of your spot that you shouldn't even be nosed into in the first place, and just do the swap. And the amount of time, I thought he was going into one of those other spots, but it looked like he's going to changing the different fuel island or something. I can't tell. She's sitting there mouthing off to me about how stuff, but like, where's the jet skill at? I thought it was over here. I thought this flange had a cat skill. I thought I was just looking at it. Yeah, he needs his frickin' beauty sleep, but he's acquiring a load that, no, I don't see one here. Alright, looks like we're clear. I'll just go somewhere else and skill it. Alright, we'll get my seatbelt back on and we'll just get rolling. This is bullshit. Okay. Wait away. Yeah, so what if this guy's sleeping? It only takes a few minutes to get your truck backed up out of the way, disconnected, do a quick little documentation, and go back to sleep, and then you have all day long to do it. So don't sit here and give me a hard time about your fucking husband not being able to sleep. 'Cause I've been there, done that. Like I was saying, I was there in a position and I was like, hey, this guy wants to hold me up and cause that load to be late because of his doing. Then it becomes his service failure, not the company's. Or not just the company, I mean. Make sure I never swap with that guy again. If you can't do your damn job, then bye. Don't even come to this company if you're gonna be that way with swaps. Swaps in the middle of your 10-hour break do suck, but they're a necessary evil too. And unless you're a fucking CDL driver, keep your damn mouth shut about it. the guy was probably pretty smart to not try to engage in a battle of wits with me, because it would not have gone well. I'm not saying I would have gotten any kind of physical conflict with them, but then again, try to start something with me, I will defend myself too, though. But I'll give him credit for at least being professional enough to not get it and try to engage in a battle of wits about it. And I was not really didn't want to do anything more than just get the job done and get out of there at that point in time. Say, you know what, the hell with this? I'm not doing this. I'm not doing this guy any favors again. Message so the other guy's DM and the fleet manager and all that will know what the story is. Like I say, it wouldn't have even been his problem if he had delivered late because of lack of HOS to work with, but when they have an opportunity to swap and you can still get a full 10-hour break-in, on top of that, and still make the load your repowering on time, then there's really no excuse for the whining that they were both doing. I show up late to the first drop because of him. And I could say, hey, that 20 minutes that you wasted before we were able to actually switch, that could have been a key difference there. Ticket or anything. I didn't show him mine either, but I don't give a shit now. But I know that the one I gave him is skill good. pallets, 9,130 pounds it looks like. Ralph's in Compton is 15 pallets and 28,848. Alright, so it's only like 37,000. It's a pretty good chance it'll scale okay. Was that 21 pallets total, I think it was? whatever you want to call that thing over in Arizona. I'll scale it there and then get right back on the road. I want to get fuel. I want to top off my fuel tanks in Moapa. But my question though is, I don't think they have a cat skill there for, I don't recall. Here at all with climbing the hill or accelerating and all that. But like I said, last night there were a couple of times where I was getting evidence of clutch slip. And if it was actually a worn clutch, then my clutch would be doing that all the time, even when I'm accelerating on flat terrain. But the fact that I only did it a couple of times when I was on the going up hills, and then when I downshifted or whatever, you know, when I switch gears, it tells me it's more likely a clutch adjustment or something else going on. Not to mention there are times when I can feel the clutch pedal that has a more firm feel to it, and other times it has a more much more loose feel to it. Always show our fleet manager Tyler the live dash cam video of me showing up on the lot at a certain time, and even talking on the camera how I could see the woman there doing whatever by the passenger door of his truck. Running hot. I know some of you are saying stuff. I just don't know what. We'll check it out later on, hopefully. I would say go ahead and talk it, but just assume that I won't be able to see it for a while. Now I thought about going back to yesterday's stream and maybe doing like a secondary video where I might, just chit chat, whatever, respond to whatever comments were said in that as a recorded video or something, or who knows. Either he's a super trucker and they were holding him up, or they did something before I saw them in front of him. It was kind of right on their asses though, so it might have just been him being a super trucker, impatient, and get out of my way, car, because I own this lane. I own the hammer lane. I don't want to make assumptions. I didn't see what went on between that car and the truck before they were, maybe a few hundred feet behind me. By then, the car was already in front of the truck and behind someone else as well, and all of them were advancing on me.
You have 6 hours and 51 minutes of remaining drive time.
Another reason this kind of pisses me off is the fact that I think it was right around 400 miles out from my house, and if him holding me up like that might have put me in a position where I can't make it to the house without needing a 30-minute break first. Which might mean I'll have to do a real sleeper birth period somewhere other than at the house. See how things are going with how I look in relation to the schedule though. Once I'm done. That guy lived pretty young, so I assume that he's not very experienced and has a pretty good amount to learn. Skateboard driver passed me now. Is he hauling railroad ties? I think that's what they are. Big Times Trucking. Yep, railroad ties. triples out here, both in Utah and Colorado, Idaho. Well, not quite so much Idaho, but they're there, and Oregon as well. Because I've seen triples triples trucks going up and down Cabbage Pass, among other areas of Oregon. Almost makes you wonder why they're not legal in every state. Because they have the same problem everywhere. Their length makes them difficult to find places to park. Usually along a curb, or on off ramps and on ramps, whatever. Is usually or in places that are set up specifically for them. Usually their best options. Those pup trailers are 28 feet long, I believe, and so if you get 3 of them together, that's it's like 84 feet plus the tractor itself, which is probably at least another 10-15 feet, so 95 to 100 feet long from nose to tail when you have triples. Actually a little over 100, because you got to count the gap between the trailers too, where the dollies hook them up to each other. It's usually at least I don't know, about a 3 or so foot gap, so yeah, we can add in an extra 6 feet at least there for the gap between the trailers. Yeah, it's gonna be slightly over 100 feet long from nose to tail, I would imagine. A lot of these spots are only designed for a truck that's about 70 to 75 feet long. So just imagine a truck with triples trying to park in this rest area right here among these other, well, see, there's a FedEx double there that's parked in a spot, but doubles are roughly are similar in length to a truck, a sleeper cab with a 53. Both are going to be in the low to mid 70 range with the length. The sleeper cabs, they vary based on their wheelbase. Not every truck has the same wheelbase, and even the same year, make, and model of truck can have different wheelbases. It's just how the customer wants it set up. Some might want like a shorter, like 260-inch wheelbase. Some might, or well, if you want to call it short. Some might want, or even a 240 or something. Or someone might even want a longer, like a 300 or something like that. And what that ultimately means is how much gap there could be between the front of the trailer and the back of the tractor, or how much room there is on the back of the tractor for a sleeper area. straight ahead, right by where the road curves to the right. I think this, it's Frontier or Armada or something's gonna catch me before I get to this guy. Back off and wait on these. Got like 3 4-wheelers in a row now. It's like an Armada or Pathfinder or something, followed by a couple of sedans. Keep waiting on everybody to move over on me. Oh, it's starting to get rained on. Turn my headlights on. Anytime the windshield wipers are required, you're also required to have your headlights on by law. Bug cleanup, free truck wash, courtesy of Mother Nature. Get my sunglasses put away. Decided to end my shift last night in Parowan as well. I guess for the sake of this swap, it's probably good that I stopped where I did, but on the other hand, not so sure I'm happy about doing this swap after all that happened. When the nerve of that woman trying to tell me off about him. Hey, we just got here at 4 a.m. and he needs to sleep. Yeah, well, he can get plenty more when he's done with the swap. Get the fucking trailer out of the way and let me do what I gotta do. So don't hold me up. He probably thinks I have a shitload of time, but guys, dude, you can not just get in front of me and slow down. What are you thinking, dumbass? The problem I have is my 14-hour clock. I cannot make the first delivery. I mean, if I just start my shift regularly, if I got it moving right away and then didn't have the option of an 8-2 split before, so I can have at least some 14-hour clock back, then I would have an expired clock no matter what before I got to the second drop. Whereas driving wherever as far as I can, and then doing an 8-hour sleeper berth period, I'll still have the drive clock. That's not the problem. It's the drive clock's fine. The 14-hour clock is what concerns me. So I got moving, we'll just say about 10:30. Or 10:30 Pacific time. If it's going to take me about 10 hours, or 9.5, 10 hours to get down there, now, I would be there about 8 p.m. or 2000 if you want to put it that way. Add in a 10-hour break, And that's right at 6 a.m. and that's too close for comfort because his first drop is at 6. I want to be there before 6, not at 6. But then if I started my shift, let's just say as late as I could to get there, if we backtrack, now 24.6 is 30. Add in, or actually go down minus 1 because you plan on being there an hour before normally. So 29 minus 10 is 19. So I would have wanted to get started at 1900 tonight. But then if you add 14 to that, that's 29, that's 33. 33 minus 24 is 9. So that means even if I started my shift right on time to get to the first drop on time, my 14 would still expire at 9 a.m. or when I have a 12 o'clock delivery time in Compton. That's not going to work. Especially when I might be in a dock door still for all I know, or waiting for a dock door at that first drop. You can't take that chance. And if I started right away, I would barely be on time to the first drop. And on top of that, I'd have no clock to work with. Because like I say, 10, or no, I could get I could have gotten a 10-hour break started later this evening, but then barely get there on time, if even at all. I would probably have been late. So I would have had a good 14-hour clock to work with and a fresh set of drive hours as well. But if there's too much of a risk that I'm going to show up late to the first drop, then that's not a very desirable option either. I mean, it's better than the alternative. But if there's an option available that prevents late arrival to both receivers, then that's the way I want to go. So, and then the answer, there is a solution to that, and that would be I get down there ASAP, get down into California whenever, as quickly as I can, do an 8-hour sleeper berth, and then when I get done with my 8 hours, I'll get some 14-hour clock back. It won't be a lot, but it should be enough. Not to mention, I can spend 2 hours there on my. Because basically, I would essentially start a 10-hour break when, or a new shift, a new 14-hour clock. Essentially, when my 8-hour sleeper berth is done. What's going on over here? I got like 3 different cops or whatever it is on that sedan over there, off the off ramp. High risk stop or something. Alright. So yeah, the solution there, if it takes me it's 400 miles to get to my house. It's about, we'll just say about 7.5 hour trip. So I would have been there about 1800 had this guy not helped me up. Might be more like 1900 though. Add in the 8-hour sleeper berth, that is 27 or 3 a.m. Okay, I can get to City of Commerce in less than 3 hours. As long as, especially at that hour, I'm not going to get held up by traffic at 3 in the morning. As I get closer to the receiver, there's a chance I could, but normally it would take me about 2 hours to get down there from my place, roughly. I'm trying to come over. So basically, assuming I get home by around 1900. Then I should be able to get to the first drop with about an hour to spare. And essentially also my shift would start at 3 a.m. Add in 14, that's 1700 is when my 14-hour clock would expire. That I can work with. So then I could just PC straight back to the house after that. And then be ready to reload Thursday night right after my dental appointment. And and of course, both deliveries would then be able to be made on time. So these are things that you got to think about with strategy if you want to be really effective with your clock management. Now, carriers also have a service record, an on-time arrival record. It doesn't count against them if it's for, let's say, a weather or traffic problem. Yeah, that was beyond the driver's control, where the driver could have been at the customer on time, but failed only because of traffic or weather conditions preventing them from doing so. In those cases, a lot of times they'll reschedule the load, and it won't go against the carrier or the driver then. But having a carrier show up late because the driver that they assigned to it doesn't have the hours to do it, then that's the carrier problem. It makes the carrier not look so good, and then when the carrier doesn't look so good, it makes them more at risk of losing loads. Where the customer won't do as many, or won't do as many loads with the carrier in particular, or will just stop doing business with them altogether. Little things like that go a long way. You don't be a factor in your own. Don't be a factor in your own inability to get miles just because you're making the customer, the carrier you're driving for, look like shit. Out of my way after basically back to a truck stop that I had already passed previously to get to his load. I'll just say that's an example of the kind of driver who's not going to last very long in this industry with the habits this guy has. But in another respect, he probably doesn't know that, because he probably only thinks it's only 500 miles from here to City of Commerce and Compton. Oh yeah, that's easy to do, but you're not thinking about the 6-hour gap between the two appointment times, and how much clock I need to use to get down there. If it's a 9 to 10 hour drive to get down there, plus 6 hours in between, that's 15 hours right there. It's already more than the 14-hour clock will allow. Phone's finally cooling off a bit. That's got to be a heavy load. It's like 6 double stacked coils of hoses or whatever it is. I don't know how much those things weigh, but probably at least a good 5,000 pounds each, if not more. I can't remember. I think that's called suicide configuration or something like that. Because if you crash into something and the coils break, spools, whatever, bust through the cargo straps, they'll go right through the back of the cab and crush the driver. I'm not much of an expert on flatbedding though. Scotty D is a lot. Obviously he does flatbed, so he knows more about that than I do. And even then, I know he's not I don't think he's the most experienced flatbedder in the world, but he at least has some. can from seeing flatbedders talk on Facebook about stuff like load securement stuff, and you know, it's kind of so in a way a fascinating world to me, but it's outside my area of expertise. I know more or less what to do, but that limo is from Colorado and has the Playboy bunny on the side of it. Interesting. So, refresh my memory, because I know Hugh Hefner died. What happened to the Playboy Enterprise after he died? Who's running it? And is there somebody up in that Empire or whatever from Colorado or something? Because, like I said, that limo has Colorado plates on it, and it has that Playboy bunny on the side of it. So it makes me wonder if it probably has some kind of association with that. Oh yeah, I forgot about the TA in Parowan having a Catskill, but I kind of already got stuck in my head that I was going to stop in Arizona at that. So I'm not worried about the weigh station over by St. George. So even if I have an overweight axle, Utah has a 36,000 pound dual axle limit, not a 34. So even if I go through that weigh station and I'm like 35,000 on the drives, I'm still legal. But I will want to know when I'm at my 40-foot mark if I'm going to be legal to get through the Mountain Pass weigh station going into California, because at this point, if there's a scale problem, if I have concerns that I can't make it through that weigh station, I have to take a detour, which if I want to make sure I don't get put out of service for that at least. This flatbedder possibly wanted to pass me back up in a little bit here. I don't know if he was, like I said, I don't know if he was just slowing down for the shoulder traffic. The guy's working. If he was contemplating getting off the freeway and before then, or something else. This guy's pickup. Might need to drop back in behind this guy, but there's someone blocking me, so I can't. As long as they're going to camp out next to me, I'm just going to stay here. draw me out of your way so you can go past that truck to get the hell away from my trailer so I can move over. Once he's far enough ahead, I'll move over, but I never know. I don't want to move over too soon, though, unless he was going to move over first. So I care about how much space I have between me and whoever's in front of me. I don't want to be, especially when that guy was only going a couple miles an hour faster than me, I don't want to move over too fast. So if something goes on in front of him and he has to slow down, then it becomes the onus on me to not hit him. It's a different thing if you cut me off and slow down in front of me, but it's another for me to get in behind you, knowing full well that you could have to slow down for something legit in front of you. Kind of what I've been telling James Kelly, if I'd been in this situation, I'm not criticizing the way he handled his situation with his accident in Sacramento, but me, there's no way I would have put my truck into a guardrail. I would have just plowed right into the back of that guy's car on SUV. I don't care. Especially if you do it intentionally on me. I'll do what I can to avoid it, but if push comes to shove and I have no choice but to hit something, if you're the one causing it, you're the one who's going to get hit. Oversized detour 15 south. Yeah, here's a 12-foot width limit up ahead, which doesn't affect me, but it affects oversized trucks. Landslide, August 29th. A landslide festival. What is that? I'll probably try to put it back on, but maybe hang it from the bottom hole instead of putting it on the standard way. So I could get it through the holes. Come on, dude, are you gonna speed up or not? I was able to get my enforcer lock through the holes, but the gap between the two brackets was too much for I couldn't put it through the holes and get the lock to actually engage. hear me keep rambling on about that guy who who I just swapped with.
You've ever seen when you were young. Felicia Wong. August 2, 2020.
Most explicit.
We were all in our 4th year in primary school and 10 years old. We had a really mean class teacher. Really mean and creatively so. She was the kind that made you hold a dead cockroach in your mouth or chalk pieces.
What the hell's
She
wrong
would
with
take
that
the
one?
chalky blackboard duster and slap you on the face with it, or make you stand on the desk for the whole lesson. Those were the days when the teachers ruled the classrooms as tyrants. And she hated me, because I was talkative and made it clear what I thought of her. Our exams were over and school holidays were coming. The teachers were all busy marking. She would dump us all in the video room and slot a videotape into the player, yes, those video cassette days. She would come in at the end of the video time to change the video. Usually the videos were some inane Disney story or some comedy from her own collection. But that particular afternoon, after she left, an adult film with an alien theme started playing. Lol, OMG, I still laugh when I think back to that day. All my classmates and I stared at the screen in shock. Some were embarrassed, some were intrigued, and some were in shock, but all of us had our eyes glued to the screen. We all had a shock when she opened the door and saw what was playing on the screen. She gasped audibly and ran to switch the player off. It was too late, of course, it was already near the end of the film, lol. I don't think it left any bad impressions on us and no one had nightmares, even though at that time, the scenes of the aliens and humans having sex was rather gross and violent, ha ha ha. 404.1k views. You 990 upvoters. You sharers. Answer requested by Mohit Rathore. About the author. Felicia Wong. Closet poet and artist. Animal lover. Fighter. Studied at School of Life, interested in everything and a master of nothing. Lives in the universe. 666.5k content views, 412.6k this month. Active in 3 spaces. You 100 plus other answers to this question. About careers, privacy terms, contact languages, your ad choices. Copyright Quora Inc. 2020. Open in app. Article 148 of 164. Answer. Open in app. Sign in. Have you ever witnessed a judge go completely ballistic and lose it in court? Brandon Matheny. Updated August 17, 2020. JD from Intellectual Property, University of Richmond School of Law, graduated 2014. So the judge I saw didn't go ballistic and lose it, but the calm way he handled the issue was more terrifying than if he had. During my second summer of law school, I interned with the Public Defender's Office and was assigned to the Traffic Division. Side note, this sounds dull, but actually exposed me to lots of different areas of law and gave me the chance to have my first real case. Many states allow rising third-year students to practice, as long as they're supervised by a licensed attorney. Anyway, I was sitting in the courtroom of a judge known for being very fair and even-keeled, but also not taking nonsense. I was waiting for my case to come up, and happened to be in one of the seats that put me directly behind the line of defendants and in the judge's eye line. One guy gets up there and goes full sovereign citizen. That he is there is the corporation representing John Doe, because he did not consent as his person to the laws of the state, that his home printed driver's license is totally fine because he authorized himself to make it, that the flag in the courtroom is an illegal Admiralty flag because it has a gold fringe, that he refuses to be a 14th Amendment citizen, and so on. The judge, to his immense credit and, I think, a bit of amusement, lets this guy go on for a bit, all while politely but firmly poking holes in everything he is saying. Finally, the guy gets frustrated and starts raising his voice. Judge asks him to please calm down. Guy interrupts him and says, "I'm not done talking yet and this court has no power over me." And that's when he crossed the line. There are 3 things you need to know about this judge. 1. He puts a small lectern on top of the bench and stands the whole time court is in session. 2. He's a retired fighter pilot. 3. He has piercing steely blue eyes. He gives this guy a withering stare that I am unfortunately sitting in the line of, and I swear I feel the temperature in the room drop 15 degrees. The guy trails off and the judge calmly and terrifyingly says, "Mr. Doe, you will not be disrespectful and you will not interrupt me again. And if you do, I'll show you just how much power this court has over you by having the deputies escort you to lockup." It wasn't loud, it wasn't ballistic, but it was terrifying. Guy shut up, accepted his fine, and left quickly. Best move he made all day. 47.8k views. You 3.6k upvoters. You sharers. About the author. Brandon Matheny. JD from Intellectual Property, University of Richmond School of Law, graduated 2014. 47.8k content views, 47.8k this month. You 39 other answers to this question.
Why people get that stupid idea that laws don't apply to them. It's like, yeah, you can't have your own little utopia. There's no such thing.
Article 149 of 164. Answer. Open in app. Sign in. Has any truck driver driving on a long stretch road at night, being the only driver on the road at that time, had any experience with any creepy or paranormal encounters? Sam Relaford. August 23, 2020. Truck driver at Ready Services, 2018 present. I was driving down a 2-lane road north of Phoenix back in '94. It was a full moon and very clear. Being the only truck on the road, I had my high beam headlights on. Ahead I noticed 2 people walking along the road. A Native American woman and her child. She was holding his hand. They were dressed in modern dress, so I was like, I wonder why they out here in the middle of nowhere in the middle of the night. I started to slow down to stop and ask them if they were okay. When I got about 100 feet from them, they both faded away right in front of my eyes. About a week later, I was going down the same road in the middle of day and I saw a rider on horseback hauling ass across the valley. As I got closer, I saw it was a Native American man dressed in full headdress on a paint bareback. I continued on and saw we would pass close to each other on the road. About the time I expected to see him cross in front of me, he disappeared. I have never been back on that road again. 2 views. You 1 upvoter. About the author. Sam Relaford. Truck driver at Ready Services, 2018 present. Lives in Colorado. 3.5k content views, 3.5k this month. You 2 other answers to this question. About careers, privacy terms, contact languages, your ad choices. Copyright Quora Inc., 2020. Open in app. Article 150 of 164. Joe Montana just broke America's heart by revealing everything wrong with Rudy sportscasting 5 hours ago. Rudy is one of the most famous and heartwarming sports movies ever made. It tells the underdog tale of Daniel Rudy Rudiger, a hardworking kid who dreamed of playing football at the University Notre Dame. In one of the most iconic scenes in movie history, Rudiger finally gets into a game, makes a sack, and is carried off the field by his fighting Irish teammates. Joe Montana, the Notre Dame quarterback at the time, recently spoke about the authenticity of the movie, and he didn't hold back. If you're a Rudy lover, get your tissues ready. Rudy is one of the most heartwarming sports movies ever made. When you think of Rudy, you think of one of the greatest underdog stories in college sports history. Daniel Rudiger, a hardworking teenager in the 1960s from a small town in Illinois, decided to follow his dream of playing football at Notre Dame after his brother was killed in a steel mill accident. However, Rudiger didn't have the grades or the money to attend Notre Dame. He instead went to school at nearby Holy Cross College, but he never stopped applying to get into his dream school. Rudy got a job working at Notre Dame's football stadium, and after numerous attempts to get into the school, he finally got admitted after 2 years at Holy Cross. Rudiger walked onto the football team as a member of the practice squad. Although he was told he would never suit up for a game, Rudiger still worked just as hard as the starters during practices. Finally, Rudiger got his chance to shine in a game against Georgia Tech. Miraculously, Rudy made a sack on the final play of the game as the crowd chanted his name. He was carried off the field by the entire team after the game, or at least that's what the movie portrayed. Joe Montana was Rudy's teammate at Notre Dame. Daniel Rudiger might be the most memorable player on the mid-1970s Notre Dame roster, but there was an all-time great quarterbacking the Fighting Irish at the same time. That's right, Joe Montana was the Notre Dame signal caller when Rudy finally got into his first varsity game. Montana led the Fighting Irish to 3 winning seasons and a national championship in 1977. The Hall of Fame QB recently spoke about Rudiger and how he was portrayed in the famous movie. Rudy fans aren't going to like what he had to say. Joe Montana delivers heartbreaking news that Rudy wasn't accurate. The ending of Rudy is what every fan remembers most. The crowd chanting his name. Rudiger's incredible sack. His team carrying him off the field afterward. Well, according to Montana, the sack was the only accurate part of the movie. Montana appeared on a recent episode of Barstool Sports' Pardon My Take podcast and debunked the ending of Rudy. Was there a lot of things that happened? Yeah, he got in, he got a sack. Was the crowd chanting? No. Did I throw in my jersey? No. Did he get carried off the field? He got carried off by 3 of the biggest pranksters on the team. Joe Montana. So, the biggest moment of Rudiger's life was apparently just a joke to the rest of the team. Montana claims the 3 players carried Rudy off the field sarcastically, not in celebration. The jersey scene was fabricated, the chanting never happened, and the iconic ending wasn't even accurate. What a crushing blow to the sports movie community. Article 151 of 164. Answer.
Alright, so it's a good talking point there. I'm going to Commerce, California. Alright, how many of you guys have seen that movie, Rudy? It's a good movie. Stars Sean Astin. He's the one who plays Rudy. I forget who else is in that one. But no, we know that Hollywood always does some extra dramatics for movie effects, so I'm not surprised to hear that there was at least some creative liberties taken between reality and what was portrayed in the movie. Because, you know, they have to sell it, and basically what they're doing is they're providing an entertainment avenue for viewers, and they want it to be interesting for, capture the emotions of the viewer as well. So yeah, I can see that they wanted to take some liberties with that. And there are a couple other really good movies related to professional football, or actually, we'll just say organized football walk-ons. There's the one, I forget the name of it. Mark Wahlberg, when he played a guy who walked on to the Philadelphia Eagles. Why am I forgetting the name of him now? Brain fart. I know the name, I just forget. Sometimes I have these little brain farts sometimes that I'm trying to jog up certain long-term memories like that. And Invincible or something like that. Isn't that what it's called? Yeah, I want to say it's Invincible, or maybe not Invincible, but something along that line. What's the name of that movie? I know it's Mark Wahlberg. And I think the player's name that he was portraying was Vince Papali or something like that. It's a true story movie, which is right up my alley, and basically it was a Philadelphia local area guy who tried out. They had like an open tryout. They decided to have an open tryout there for the Eagles, and he decided to show up and try out, and he ended up making the team. And there was another one that I actually have on my Amazon Prime. I think it's on Prime. Yeah, really good movie. Man, that's another one. I'm brain farting on the name of the movie and the name of the player that it was about. Basically, it was I know I've seen the guy. Okay, the names of this Leslie, what's her name? Or I think it is. The one who plays Sergeant Callahan in the Police Academy movies. She's in that movie. And basically, in this movie, her son, she's got two sons, and one of them's like a father figure to the other one in a way, because the real dad was an abusive alcoholic. And the younger brother is the one who the movie was about. He was like this chubby, out of shape kid, whatever, and he wanted to be like a pro football player, but he was one of those wannabe, like stay at home, never work out, kind of, never got any playing time even in Beaver League, kind of. And then he ended up wanting to the football team at University of Arkansas. I think it was University of Arkansas. I'm pretty sure it was. Well, anyway, he was like 6'5" linebacker, so 240 is a good size for a linebacker. Anyway, the younger son, the one who had all these aspirations of being pro, but it wasn't even close to being the right body type. He shows up at Arkansas, and and of course the coach says, "You'll never play for my team because you're way too small." So the next thing you know, the guy starts fattening up and gets up to over 300 pounds. And then he comes back that season and says, "Hey, I'm back." He gained like 80, 90 pounds, whatever the hell it was. And then they said, of course now he's big, but he's fat and out of shape and not playing material. So he told him that you got to lose some weight and you got to get in shape. We need that weight to be muscle, basically. So he started really working out, and he just pushed himself through it all and got himself into shape to be an actual lineman. And then they show, at least in the movie, where they're doing some drills where he goes up against another lineman, one of the starters, and he ends up beating the guy twice. Or they're in this like little den area, whatever. And one, it's almost like sumo wrestling, where one of them they have to push each other out the back end. Well, there was a fire here recently. Like some automotive debris there too. Makes me wonder if it was caused by an accident. That mile marker 30. To look it up when I get a chance. It's a really good movie though. But anyway, the guy. Now I'm not really spoiling the movie at all because the very beginning of the movie makes it pretty obvious that this happens. But the story of how it all came to that is what it's all about. Okay, so this guy, and you can read about him online too. Well, he ended up becoming an all-pro lineman, which is like all-star caliber lineman in the NCAA Division I, a big school like that, and he ended up getting drafted by the Indianapolis Colts. And the Colts were even talking about making him a starter right out of draft, and well, he ended up dying before he ever got a chance to sign the contract. Just before he was going to sign the contract, he got killed. I'll let the movie explain that, or reading about it. So he was never able to play in the NFL, but they're saying to this day, University of Arkansas football team still has a locker in their locker room with his stuff in it, and it's like a glass display thing to remind everybody who ever plays there who's a walk-on of how significant he was to them. That was a damn good movie. What kind of fun I'm going to have getting through St. George. Well, marker 30, we're not too far out of hurricane, and a little bit further past hurricane is, let's see, we got Washington, I think. I got Washington and hurricane mixed up, which on which side I mean. And then we got St. George right before we get into Arizona. Get down into the Virgin River Gorge in Arizona, gonna have a lot of buffering there because there's the signal there, cell service signal is shitty. So there will be some buffering going on when I get down into that area, so just be warned about that. It's only about 28 miles in Arizona before I get into Nevada. Then it's 122 miles of Nevada before I get to California. Like I said, I will be stopping at the Flying J and whatever that is. It's right there at the bottom of the Virgin River Gorge. What's that, exit 11 or 12 or 10 or something? Whatever that exit number is right over there. There's a Flying J, that's right there that I can scale my load at. Then I'll continue down into Nevada. I'll stop at Moapa Travel Center off exit 75, 78, whatever the hell it is in Nevada, I forget. And I can top off my fuel and DEF tanks there. The DEF there is always cheap. It's not even $2 a gallon. Usually anywhere you go, DEF is always about $3 a gallon or just under. And then I think it's $2.29 a gallon for fuel. So I'll top off there, that way I can get into California, do what I gotta do, and then whenever I pick up my next load, I can get back out of California without having to buy more expensive fuel. In fact, I should be able to get all the way down to LA, get back to my place, go back down to Colton or wherever for a pickup later, after I'm done with my appointment. Get back out to like Arizona most of the way across Arizona before I'd have to stop for another fuel stop. So I can keep myself in a position where I'm buying less than less than the national average price for fuel, we'll just say. $2.29 is not a great price, but it's below average at least, so and I'm okay with that. As long as I'm paying less than what I'm supposed to be paying. The long-term effect is a plus for me. Because I can get that $2.29 a gallon fuel, get into Cali, get back out of Cali, and then buy $2.18, $2.19 a gallon fuel in Arizona on the subsequent load, most likely. $50 worth of $3.20 per gallon fuel. Now, where it's $1 more per gallon, Because that's pretty much what I'd have to pay in California. It would be over $3 a gallon. And if it's, we'll just say it's right at $1 per gallon more than what I could get in Arizona, and I buy 50 gallons, basically like just enough to get me to Arizona, then that's $50 that I just cost myself on my paycheck. Or the long-term cost is a $50 disadvantage. Whereas I can go ahead and buy more fuel now for $2.29 a gallon, buy fuel that I'm not going to need. That'll save me in the short run on this next load, but I mean on this settlement period. But it'll have a long-term effect of saving. Well, I mean, it'll cost me more this week for fuel, but it'll save me more than that in the long run. So it's like saying I might be buying like $60, $70 worth of fuel that I don't need this time. Because I have enough fuel to make it to California already with what I already have. I just filled up in Richfield, Utah last night. Still have almost 3/4 tank of fuel. But I just can't guarantee that I can make it back out of California. So I figured I'll even just get like 50 gallons of fuel, whatever, in Moapa should be enough to get me into California, reload, get back out of Cali or something, and at least be just right by somewhat cheaper fuel. Here too, looks like. Like several hundred acres or something right here in the middle, in the median, and actually maybe a few thousand acres now that I'm seeing it extends this way as well. Heavy. I say, don't try to go around him, people. Give him a chance to come back over. He might do that. It looked like he was only over there because he was trying to get around that vehicle with the travel trailer and then lost his momentum. Mistakes happen. I make mistakes. I make similar mistakes like that myself every so often. They're going to happen. At least give the guy room where he can get back over, and don't make him get stuck out there in the lane when you know he's not supposed to. Everybody knows he's not supposed to be there. But on the other hand, him signaling early that he wants to move back to the right can also help, which he did not do until after he's already ready to move over. But no, he might have not decided until that point in time that he was going to move over too. So, and I don't want to be too critical of any of his decisions there. To me, it just looks like he got caught up in a bad, kind of a damned if you do, damned if you don't situation that he, or tough decision kind of situation, like what's the best thing I should do in this situation, and just chose wrong, and it happens. Even a 30 and 40 year experienced trucker is going to do that. Where you have a quick decision you have to make about a situation, and you might just decide on the wrong one for whatever reason. All right, Washington City, next 3 exits. That's one of those examples of why they say the day you quit learning is the day you need to turn your keys in. And I got into a situation like that with a guy actually from my company in our company Facebook group the other day. Basically somebody had posted something about why people drop trailers with the landing gear extended so damn far. Because then it's a pain in the ass trying to, you put people at risk of high hooking when they Hello. In a few hours. Well, I was going to try to get to my house, but I don't know what I'm going to make it now because the freaking guy I swapped with this morning. I got to look at because I swapped it for a load that delivers in City of Commerce at 6 a.m. tomorrow and has a second drop in Compton at noon. Okay, I'll most likely at least get to Barstow. I don't know if I'll make it to my house, but I'm gonna try. I think that guy probably wasted too much of my clock without that. I didn't do a 30-minute break, so you probably weren't watching the beginning of my stream, but okay, yeah. And I apologize to people for watching who are watching my stream who've already heard who actually watched it happen live or heard me talking about it. Yeah, I was about ready to leave and say, "Fuck him. He can go ahead and deliver his load late. I don't care." Because all right, so I told my DM, "Hey, is there any?" I just wanted to reiterate. I got a 3 p.m. appointment for my dentist with my dentist on Thursday afternoon. My own load delivers at 10 a.m. in Long Beach. Okay, now my concern is if it takes me 2 hours to unload, that'd be noon, and then I can't guarantee that I could get home from Long Beach quickly enough to get to my appointment because I anticipate traffic problems. So, there's a possibility I could do it, but you never know. It might take 3 or 4 hours there in Long Beach. I don't know. And I mean, it probably won't because I can. It's going way down there by that ports, so I know it's going to end up getting transferred into a container and shipped out to like South America or somewhere else. And yeah, and then more likely, because my experience with those places, they're not super fast, but they don't have a tendency to be any slower than a typical unload either, from my experience. I've not been to that particular receiver, but I just anticipate I might need to be there like 3 or 4 hours perhaps before I can get out of there. And the longer it takes, the less chance there is of me making it to my appointment on time. And I have temporary crowns up in my mouth right now, and I was told don't eat anything hard or don't eat anything sticky until I get the permanent crowns in. And my appointment this week is to get the permanent crowns put in. Yeah, it's like right now I'm making all kinds of adjustments. Like I'm making conscious effort to not eat anything hard, or if I do have anything hard in my mouth, like say Werther's or something, I suck on it on the. Just focus on Apparently. Well, anything I can't have. Basically, I can't bite on any hard objects with the temporary crowns because it could either break the crown, or if it's sticky, because the crowns are cemented into place on my real teeth, and then it could cause the crown to come off. Okay, so this is kind of a tricky thing with my hours. I was explaining also to others. I guess. I guess you can call that. And 10 after 10. Yeah. No, wait. Let's see. Yeah, I'm already 2.5 hours in. So, yeah, so it's a little bit after 11. I think a little bit after 11 o'clock Mountain Time when I started my shift. Okay, I got 480 miles to cover. I think it is to get to the first drop in Commerce. It's due at 6 a.m. Okay, that part's no problem at all. But the problem is my second drop, a noon drop in Compton, the 6 a.m. drop in, and I got a 14-hour clock to worry about. Okay, it's obviously I have the drive time to deal with both, but if I started my shift right away, let's just say 10:30 Pacific time, and it takes me, let's say 9.5 hours, something like that, to get down there. That would have put me there at 2000 tonight. And sorry, I'm not going to spend the night in Commerce. It's not even a good part of LA. Yeah, exactly. People think Compton's bad, but there are certain areas of Compton, like over by Carson, that are actually not bad at all. And there are certain spots over there by Compton, Compton and Carson area that I know where I can park my truck and just PC over there. And in fact, one of them is right down Wilmington Avenue from where Ralph's is at. So. Yeah. It depends on what part of Compton you're talking about, though, because there are certain areas of Compton, that can be very much as bad as everybody makes them out to be. And then it's like Long Beach too. You got a lot of shit bags in certain areas of Long Beach, and then you have like another area that's like a pretty sizable gay population there. Another that's there's a no, I'm not. I'm just saying demographically, there is actually a pretty good sized number of people there in the gay population who live in the Long Beach area. Well, there are plenty of options for you if you do decide to finally take me up on my offer. All right. He wants to meet up with you and have lunch with you. So, hey, it's free lunch on you. You guys can hang out. Not a big deal. I need to create some space here because got a four-wheeler in my way, and I'm in St. George now. Yeah. Well, I was almost going to take 80 across because when I first got to Denver, even the night before my pickup, I-70 was still closed. And then when I went to go pick up my load, I rechecked the conditions on I-70, and then all of a sudden, hey, guess what? I-70 opened. It's like, shit, all right, we're there. Fire. From, yeah, but that's not, I mean, that's not the problem. I'll have no problem having drive time to work with. The problem is wasting unneeded time when I have an on-time delivery to worry about. Because now, if you let me explain all these different strategies that I'm thinking of before I did the swap, this will make all the sense in the world. Okay, so option one, start my shift right away, get down there, get the swap done and get down there right away and do a 10-hour break. And then probably have an ETA without traffic delays right at the appointment time. Obviously, that's too risky. Okay, that was one option. The other option would be start my shift at like 7 or so tonight, and then get down there, basically start my 14-hour clock as late as possible, and make the first delivery. That wouldn't be a problem getting it there on time. But then my 14-hour clock would expire at 9 a.m. when I have a noon delivery to make. Yeah, that's not going to work out too well, especially now the first drop I'm going to only has 6 pallets coming off, but exactly. So you can't assume that something with that few pallets is going to be super quick. It might not be. Yeah, so those are both risky situations to me. So then my other option I figured was start right away, get the swap done ASAP, get down there to my place or Barstow or somewhere. I got a bypass signal for the way station. Yay! All right, so anyway, yeah, the idea was maybe get home at what time? Like 1800 tonight. Somewhere in that ballpark. And then it would have been I would have had to then I'd do an 8-hour sleeper berth. So I'd be 26. That's 2 a.m. when I'd be, I think I was thinking about this guy going into the way station because he's slowing down. It's open, but I already got a bypass signal, so I don't really care. He's got to be going in. I don't worry about that. I got, well, of course it says trucks right lane only. That's kind of, but that's because you have to prepare to go into the way station. That's to me, it's spirit of the law. Hey, I'm supposed to be in the right lane because I have to prepare to go into the way station. But as soon as I get that bypass signal saying I can bypass it, hey, it's all right. It's the other lane should be fair game now for me to go around the slower trucks. Yeah, exactly. Okay, so anyway, if I get home as quickly as I can, we'll just say 7 p.m. or something like that tonight. That's 1900. Do 8 hours. That's 27. That's 3 a.m. And then I can get rolling right away to get over to the first drop because it's going to take me over 2 hours to get there. And it might even take a little bit longer if traffic delays cause it. And I can get to the customer on time. Will also give me some 14-hour clock back to work with because if I start an 8-hour sleeper berth, and I start a new basically when I come back out of sleeper berth and start driving at 3, it has the effect of making my 14-hour clock be good all the way up until 1700 that same night, with the with the stipulation that I have to take a 2-hour break in there somewhere. No, not necessarily. It's now the other guy couldn't deliver it on time because he didn't have hours to work on his 70, and he has to wait on his recaps. So no, my load does not. My load that I gave him does not deliver until Thursday. Okay, so now I guess they were trying to find him a swap since yesterday, but and then I was available, but they never knew apparently because I never sent a Mac 41, I guess, and flagged myself, or I don't know. But anyway, they okay. So Scott called him up, my DM. I guess called him up and asked him about doing the swap, and he actually talked to him from what it sounded like. So, and then he told me, all right, you're good to go for the swap. And now I did my 10 over at the Chevron in Beaver. You know the Chevron I'm talking about, right? Yeah, down there off 109. 9J. So I had to go, I backtracked 3 miles to get back over to where he's at. Now, before I even did, maybe he's on the shitter doing something else, who knows? Maybe he'll call me back, but he never did. So then I go to the truck stop, and I'm not even off the freeway yet, and I can see his truck parked nose into a spot over in the back corner. Yeah, so I get there, I show up, and when I'm approaching his truck, I'm still driving. We're back. Okay, so we just got to the bottom of the Virgin River Gorge. There's no cell service there, so that's why there was a lot of buffering there, or if you're watching recorded, probably a clip right to here. Unfortunately, that was a necessary evil. I knew that was going to be the case before I even came down into the area, and I warned people earlier that that would be the case. Anyway, I got the Flying J here, I guess they call it Desert Springs. Exit 9 coming right up. It's nice to see the Virgin River Gorge construction that had been going on there all done. That was a hell of a lot easier to get through there this time than the last several times I've been through there. Nice change of pace there. It's not fun trying to go through a narrow 1-lane road in a truck doing 45, having to make sure you stay clear of everything. No, it's piling, not flying. It's the same difference. But yeah, this time around it was smooth sailing. Nobody in my way. Had some other traffic and stuff pass by me and shit like that, but does this have a jet skill? Oh, it does. This isn't okay. So I was thinking of Flying J that's a little bit further down the road, I think, but looking for the Catskill first. Can't tell what's over there. Get off the road and get back on the interstate and this little rinky-dink piece of shit doesn't even have a Catskill. Turn around. Just wasting time trying to stop here. think that's in Nevada. Yeah, I think it's a mesquite that I'm thinking of. Let me give Cody a call back because I lost. I lost my signal talking to Cody earlier as well. I'm going to rehash what went on. It's 30. So no, you have to use the EFS checker pad bucket. Correct. I'm not sure. I think Dan and Jesse or whoever were just actually complaining about that one, saying they suck. Okay, well, everybody I hear raves about the Blue Beacon in Barstow. Yeah, I've not, every time I hear someone talk about Blue Beacon in Barstow, they say they love it. Yeah, I've had numerous people say the same thing about that place. Uh, uh, yeah, how to do U-turn setups for the drop spots there. Yep, exactly. Okay, now when the truck was nosed into a spot in the corner, I parked right next to it. And I get out and I saw the curtains were all drawn. So I went over around to the passenger side where the woman was at and talked to her, hey, how you doing? I'm supposed to swap with you guys. So after about a minute or so, whatever, she opens the door and calls into her husband, or I guess I assume they're a spousal couple. I don't know, but she got his attention, let him know, hey, someone's here wanting to swap or something, and so I told her, yeah, you guys are going to Commerce and Compton, right? And she said, oh, we're going to California. I'm like, yeah, you're going to Commerce and Compton. It's 6 a.m. delivery time in Commerce and noon in Compton. It's like, I know what's going on with your guys' load. I was already told about it. So then I'm standing there for several minutes. I'm like, why is this guy not coming out yet? I was like, how? I mean, I know he's sleeping, or at least he seems to be, and but there's gonna be more on that in a second. I'm still scratching my head like, okay, if he got woken up, how long does it take you to just put your fucking shoes on, get your truck moving, back it out of the way so you can get out from underneath it and I can get under it and just be done with? It doesn't take long at all, especially when their truck was all there right away. That's it. So all he had to do is go in a straight line back from where he was at. And like the nearest truck part, we're in that corner, the southeast corner of their lot. He was nosed in over there, and then I was closer to the corner than him, and then there were several open spots on the road next to us, on the perpendicular road, before you get to one truck that's parked over there. So like Yeah, he could back the trailer up and then some and be out of the way, just pull right out and then just spin around and hook up to mine. Big deal. All right, so we've all done swaps. We've all done swaps in the middle of our 10-hour breaks. It sucks, but sometimes you have to do it because it always screws with somebody's schedule in some way, shape, or form. In a lot of time, at least a lot of cases. So, I mean, but I'm like, why is it taking this guy so long? All he has to do, even if he's naked, it doesn't take that long to put some clothes on and get some shoes on, and then and then move your curtains and start moving the damn truck. I wasn't born yesterday, and so I go back into my truck and start waiting. And I'm like, I start bitching on my live stream about it. I don't know what this guy's doing, but okay, whatever. And then I think after a few more minutes, whatever, I get my bills, and then start walking over to where she was at again, and then checks on him or whatever, and then he finally comes over to the window and, hey, I'm supposed to swap with you, and yeah, you can tell he was tired. I get that, but that's not a reason to hold me up. And yeah, not to mention you don't know what my schedule is like. Yeah, it sounds like I have all the time in the world to make this swap and make on-time delivery of both, but in reality, I don't, because the 14-hour clock problem. So I was getting pissed. I ended up sending a nasty gram on my QC saying, hey, I don't know what this guy's holdup is, but I've been here 21 minutes now, and this guy hasn't even moved his truck. So I told him, this guy's nosed in, he hasn't even moved his truck, and I don't know what the hell a holdup is. And it's like, I'm about ready to leave with my load and tell him to hell with it. He can take a service failure for refusing to swap a load that he knows he can't deliver on time. So, and then I call Scott up and talk to him, and then I find out that he talked to the guy before I even showed up there. When I was still over at Chevron, he talked to the guy about the swap, and the guy was okay with it, I guess, or seemed to be. So, okay, he must have been awake. And, all right, so how come when I was doing my pre-trip and getting ready to go over there and I call him up, he doesn't answer? I'm thinking, all right, maybe he's just using the restroom or something. I don't know what this guy's situation is. So, huh? Yes, correct. You're doing your 29, I guess? Uh, yeah, that's what I do. Okay, so anyway, right, I call Scott up and let him know, hey, I don't know what the hell this guy's holdup is, but I'm about ready to hook back up to my trailer and leave with it, because I'm not going to sit here dicking around waiting for wondering what the hell's up with this guy. It doesn't take that long. And as I was saying, because I have these strategic problems with making both deliveries on time. And said, I need to get moving now. And I even stressed to the woman when I first talked to her, hey, I got to get this load moving pretty fast here if I want to get both the loads delivered on time, because of that. I don't have time to do a 10-hour break. I don't normally. Maybe, yeah. Because sometimes, like the last time I think one of the last loads I swapped was actually a guy I've swapped with before who's been with us for quite a few years. I can't, what was that, 8 years or something like that? 7, 8 years. And I love doing swaps with him because he's really detail oriented. He knows exactly, he does pre-trips. He knows what he's doing. He's a freaking joy to swap with. So, Yeah, exactly. So there's the other thing. Okay, so if Scott had already talked to him and told him that I was getting ready to come over there, let's see, I think it's 118 is where the Flying J is, if I remember right. All right, then he should already known that I was going to be there really soon, and he should get them. There's that limo, that Colorado limo with the Playboy Bunny on the side of it again. Yeah, that thing passed me up earlier in Utah, and then I just passed him. I guess he passed back by me. He must have got off the road somewhere. All right. So anyway, I'd already gotten it by the time I was talking to Scott on the phone about why this guy's taking so damn long, and told him I'm about to hook up to my trailer and just leave. I don't care. Yeah, and he was wondering the same thing, like, because you could see on my freaking status that I was off duty for 21 minutes, and this guy hadn't even moved his truck an inch yet. Get off me. So then while I'm on the phone with Scott, and I'd already hooked back into my trailer and was about ready to jump out, and as soon as I was off the phone to hook back up, hook the airlines back up and raise the gear, I was going to leave. All of a sudden, while I'm still on the phone with Scott, I'll start seeing this guy's trailer starting to back up a little bit. Like, are you fucking kidding me? Now he's deciding to move. And then he looked like he was going to try to actually back into a spot. I'm like, no, you're good. You know, I had to blow my air horn, let him know, hey, you're good. Just thumbs up. Let him just stop right where you're at. I'm ready to go. Don't waste time. And then I go circle back around, and I go over, kind of hang out over by the passenger side of his trailer. And then his wife gets out and starts yelling at me for being impatient or whatever. And we just got here at 4 a.m. and he needs sleep and all that. I'm like, okay, and you're not even a fucking CDL driver, woman. First, and yeah. So, and that's that's exactly what I told Scott. And I started jawing back at this woman saying, you know how many fucking swaps I've done in the middle of my 10-hour break? A lot. So don't fucking sit here and tell me about what it's like to have to show up early in the morning, especially when I like to drive night shifts. She started yelling at me first, so I yelled back. It's fucking on the live stream. Yeah, it's on the live stream. You can see her come up to my truck and start yelling at me from the, I had my window down and I was in my driver's seat waiting for her husband to get out from under the trailer so I can get under it. By the time that I got hooked up to his trailer, and then he went and just nosed into the spot next to where that he was originally in. And then, by the time I was done, he already was on his way over with his bills, and probably fortunately he didn't say a word about, didn't try to open his mouth and run it about something, because would have teed off on him as well. No, this was a younger looking mixed race or Puerto Rican looking guy. And yeah, and he had his wife was like Asian or Jamaican or something. I don't know. Those stink asses. That's funny. Alright, we're back. Just finished filling my lower, and it's good. It's not a very heavy one. It's 73,000 gross. Got 32 on the drives and 29 on the tandem, so just gonna get moving. 449 is not going to be enough to get me back to Victorville. I'm going to have to take Hello. What's up? How's it going? Oh, so you're gonna team drive with the other drivers for a bit? Oh, okay. That's pretty cramped. Okay. So you said that you're staying in the West Coast area for now, or? Okay, and then so then yeah, and then your truck's supposed to be ready when? Damn, I keep changing it. Tie rod and the knuckles or something. Yeah, the control valve. Yeah, the shaft that goes from the steering wheel down to the control valve. Oh, damn. Huh. That doesn't sound good. Yeah. And then you say, how are you getting to Nashville then? Did they say once your truck's done, then you'll take loads with your truck back to Nashville or what? Okay. Uh, yeah. So where you guys at now? Oh, okay. Oh, okay. What a stupid trucker ahead of me. Didn't even signal his lane change. And he did it while there was a pickup right behind him that was even contemplating passing him on the right. Yeah, I'm on my way back to Cali now. I just got through Mesquite. I had to scale the load though, because I did a swap up in Beaver. I don't. Yeah, because I had to take the focus off of YouTube and go over to my my truck app, and then unless YouTube is not, if YouTube isn't the front running program app on my phone, then it actually pauses the recording. So yeah, when I have to go off focus to scale my load or whatever else like that, or even say if I have to make an outgoing call or something, say I usually try to use Google, OK Google, but usually when I do that, I mean, if I'm streaming live, OK Google doesn't seem to work. I don't know why, but I don't know if the live stream over my overrules it or something, but yeah. Yeah, I-15, there's a flying J at exit 112, and then a Chevron at 109. I was over at the Chevron, and I had some reservations about whether I'd be able to get my own load delivered on time and get to my dental appointment. I mean, getting my load delivered on time was not a problem at all, but problem was, would I be able to deliver it and get back up to Victorville for my dental appointment before my on time? And I was concerned about it, and they said, "Oh, we got a guy who's right there in Beaver who's out of hours and needs help getting his load delivered on time. It's also going to Southern Cal, and it's due tomorrow morning." All right, sure, I'll do it. Yeah, but I had to be strategic with my hours or my clock management, because if I start on my shift right away and get down there and do a full 10-hour break, then there's a chance I deliver the first drop late. If I wait till as late as possible to start and then get there on time, then I'll have an expired 14-hour clock before I can get to my second drop. And if I get held up in a dock door at my first drop, where my 14 expires before I get a chance to leave, which can happen, then I have another problem. I can't make the second drop on time. And then option three was get moving right away, get down there, get back to my house. Let's just say by 7 p.m. tonight, no later than 7, I can do an 8-hour sleeper berth, and then get moving at 3 in the morning and get down there probably between 5 and 5:30, and then probably have, when I do the 8 hours, it gives me some time back on my 14-hour clock. So then, yeah, there'd have to be a 2-hour break in there somewhere, which that's not a problem. I can combine it with the delivery. Sitting in the dock door, and I can just find somewhere around there to park for a bit, and then head over to my second drop, and then my 14-hour clock would effectively be good all the way up until 1700 tomorrow night. So that third option seems like the only option I have that can get me delivered on time. Hey, Cody's calling me back. Let me fetch him in, all right? Hello? All right, I'm not playing phone tag anymore, guys. I'm not gonna keep playing back and forth games. All right. I was wondering what happened. I just hit the button on my headset to switch over to answer, and then you hung up, and then I'm talking to him. I'm thinking I'm getting ready to patch his number, the call with him into the call with you. And then you call me back, and then I'm trying to get to a spot where he's not talking like, hey, James is trying to call me back right now, and now I'm starting to play phone tag between both you guys. I'm like, okay, this is getting old. I'm not gonna keep doing this. So, uh, uh, all right. Yeah, good question. All right. See, I'm sure you probably heard me talking about how that swap went. Yeah, if not, go to the very beginning of the stream and then just watch the first, we'll say a little bit more than half hour of it, and that'll pretty much tell you everything. But I was highly annoyed with the way it went, and as far as I'm concerned, I'll never do a swap with that guy again. If he can't get off his fucking ass and move his truck, get out from underneath it so I can get moving in a timely manner, then yeah, I'm not doing him any more favors. Yeah, well, this guy was talking to I think my dispatcher or his dispatcher, whoever it was, before I even showed up there, and I was only 3 miles away at the very next exit when the thing went down. And then I went on duty as soon as my clock was done, and I show up, and this guy's out cold. His wife's outside, or I assume it's his wife, outside the truck with their dogs. So I talked to her, let her know, hey, I'm here to swap with you guys. And okay, so why is my truck why am I in off duty status for 21 minutes? And then resorting to calling my DM and asking, I don't know what this guy's problem is, why it's taking him so long to get. I mean, come on. Get your fucking clothes on if you're not dressed. Get your shoes on. You don't have to do much of anything. Just throw on some clothes real quick, and then back your trailer up because your dumbass hasn't nosed in the first place, and just get it out of the way. You don't need, there's so much room there. You don't even have to back it into a spot. Just back it up so I can get underneath it. Is all I cared. And but why it was taking so long, I couldn't figure out. And then I told my DM, I'm getting ready to leave. I'm gonna just hook back up to my trailer and go. And while I was in the middle of talking to my DM about that, he starts finally backing out of the spot. I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? So then, yeah, then while he's disconnecting from the trailer, I'm over on the passenger. I roll over to the passenger side to wait in line with the passenger side of his trailer. And then his wife comes over to my truck and starts yelling at me about how blah 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 blah. I am impatient asshole and all this and that, whatever. He just got here at 4 a.m. and hasn't had a chance to sleep at all. I'm like, yeah, guess what? You got a load that's not due until Thursday at 10 now. You can sleep all fucking day for all I care. I don't care. I have to get your load delivered on time now, and I don't have time to sit here and screwball around or what. I can't remember what exactly I said, but for one, like she doesn't even have a CDL, I assume, and because he has to wait on his recaps to come in before he can roll, and by then he can't get to the customer on the first drop on time. So there's a lot of background noise. I can't tell what's going on there. Okay, so there is a good question asked in there, but there's also another question asked that is evident that you're not getting all of the information. Okay, I did not know that I was going to swap with them until right, like not even an hour before I was going to start my shift, which was not until like 11:10 a.m. Mountain Times when I was going to go back on duty. And the other guy didn't know either. He rolled in at 4 a.m. and, like an idiot, decided to nose into the spot. Why do people do? Well, no, I'm not. I'll call people an idiot who do that. I don't care. It's not my problem if someone wants to nose into a spot, but I will never, ever, ever advocate it. Yeah, if you want to park your truck like that, great. But there's a lot of background going on there. What's up? Okay. All right. Anyway, yeah. If you nose it now, I actually have a video from a while back, maneuvering in truck stops, whatever truck stop parking lots or something like that over at the Flying J in Kingman. And I talked about how I talked about in that one several reasons why I don't advocate nosing in. For one, you cannot see what you're if there are people parked next to you on both sides, you have no idea what you're backing out into. Because it's even if you get out of your truck and look, which I have seen a couple of drivers do when they're nosed in, and then they go back to their truck to back and then get in and start backing out. And the time it takes to get from the back of their trailer to the inside of the truck and actually start backing up, someone from a nearby truck can already be walking right by. Someone else in another truck could be driving by at the same time you're doing it. And if you hit anybody, guess who's at fault now? It's you. And you have no idea that they're even there because you can't see anything. Yeah. Now, why people park like that? There are different reasons for it, and I get their rhyme or reason, their method of the mayhem, whatever, and it makes some sense. But in my opinion, it doesn't matter what your reason is. Safety always trumps convenience. Now, reasons why someone will want to nose in. One might be they pull a reefer trailer and don't want their reefer unit to disrupt people and the spots next to them, especially if it's dry van or flatbed type people next to them. Because a lot of dry van and flatbed drivers hate parking near reefer units because the reefer units always make a noise. Um, okay, the other reason would be they don't want the front end of their truck getting damaged by somebody else who decides to back in next to them and hit them. Because if you hit a trailer, it does if you do any damage at all, it won't be very much because the back of the trailer is designed to hit stuff. And not to mention, if it's not your trailer, then it's not your problem. But whereas the tractor gets hit and then damage gets done, that can put you out of service, and then now you're sitting around waiting for your truck to get fixed and not making any money. Whereas if it's a bad trailer, if there, would you get the hell away from me, you fucking fly? If it's a trailer problem, at least with most people, you can just get rid of the trailer, drop it at a repair yard or something, and then go bobtail over to a different one, and keep rolling with some loads like that while the other one's getting fixed. Like say with us, where if trailer gets damaged, I can just drop it in a repair yard and never have to worry about that trailer again. Another reason why people will do that, will park that way, is because they like privacy, or to feel like they have privacy, where they can look out away from the truck stop instead of toward it, and maybe they can have the curtains open and not feel like everybody in the neighboring trucks or anywhere nearby can actually be staring at them or something. That can happen. Yeah, if they're, let's just say you nose out. I mean, if you back out of a spot, sometimes you don't have enough room to work because you don't have the room to work with to get your trailer to start swinging in one way or the other. A lot of times, and or maybe you could get it in there okay, but then once other trucks start parking later on and taking up some of the space, now you have no way out. Or you could accidentally hit the guy to the side of you, on one side of you or the other, while you're trying to get your trailer to swing in one direction or another, and next thing you know, you have an accident trying to get out of your spot. So another reason why I don't advocate that is, especially when you're dealing with a perimeter spot. Most of the time in perimeter spots, they're set up so that let's say if your tandems are forward, there's room for you to, and then for the rest of your trailer to hang over the back end of whatever's behind the curb, without having any problems. Now, when you have your tandems, let's just say the California setting, now you have a 10-foot gap between where the rear axle is and the DOT bar. Get away from me, fuck. All right, so, but when you nose in, there's not much of a gap between your steer axle and the front of your tractor. So what does that mean when there's a no matter what your tractor, the nose of your tractor, the back end of your trailer distance is the same amount. It could be 72, 75, whatever feet, depending on your wheelbase and where your fifth wheel is positioned and all that. So when you have a position where your tandems or your trailer can overhang up to a good about 10 feet or so past the curb, your tractor can sit further back into the spot, which leaves more room for people to back into nearby spots. But if you nose in, now you're limited to only about maybe 3 or so feet. So that extra 7, your trailer sticks out possibly another 7 feet into the lane, or out past the front of your spot, than it could otherwise be positioned. And case, the pilot in North Palm Springs one time, I'm in a spot it was basically a straight back spot, and I was out, and I had to make an immediate right turn after I got out of the spot to get to the exit. So if you go straight ahead, all you're doing is dead ending right into the fuel island. So then I have to deal with making around that guy safely without hitting him with my trailer, and also had to make sure my because we'll check where my trailer swing was at before I committed to all the way around that guy. And I think because there were other spots across the row, not basically almost across from where his was at. I also had I can't remember if I had to do a 3-point turn like a jackknife type turn to clear the guy parked across the road. Whereas if the guy was backed into the spot instead, it wouldn't have been a problem at all. I would have had plenty of room to work with. What are you doing, dude? There's a freaking tanker there. Yeah, you're gonna get really far, right? Trying to pass these trucks, you fucking dumbass. Apparently he's gonna get around, but damn it, this fly just won't go away. It won't fly, and it won't go near my windows when I want them there. Keep filling on my I keep feeling them landing on my legs and stuff or whatever, and then so I have to think he probably got in there when I was doing my swap. All right. You what? Yeah. That's why I don't usually ever leave my windows open for more than I have to. I've also had times where other critters fly into me and like land on me or whatever, like and get splattered, whatever. Not necessarily splattered, but disabled, crashing into me like wasps and big bees and stuff. I had that happen once when I was in Italy. I had driving down the road one day and I had the window open to the van that I was driving, and all of a sudden I got hit by something. And then I looked down and there's a freaking like a big ass honeybee looking thing, whatever, like upside down and like moving his legs like he's trying to get back up, and like, son of a bitch. Or sometimes I've had them even come into this truck and have to get rid of them. Oh, good. Let's see. Now she always has trouble with Chloe not focusing on work, but that's the same day, different thing, and I have to get involved and turn into asshole mode to get her to focus. Not particular there. Yeah. Where'd that fly? I just saw him flying over there by my passenger cell. Where the hell did he go? There. What's that? Yeah, I want to whack him. That's about it. Damn it. Now he's flying around right in front of my face. And God damn it, get by that fucking window so I can get out. Fucking things drive me nuts. Alright. I got a fuel stop coming up before long. I'm going to be off the road soon. So I'm going to get going here. Alright. Alright, you too. Alright. That's James Kelly. I don't know if he's been watching the stream, but I don't know if he mentioned you guys. His truck won't be ready for another 2-3 days. Because they decided a team drive with another driver temporarily until his truck's in the gets out of the shop. And after it gets through getting fixed, I guess the plan is to get him a series of loads, whatever that'll get him to Nashville, so he can turn the truck in and get a different one, get a new one. Now he's basically staying on the West Coast for a bit. Myron, exit 84 coming up. I'll be stopping at Moapa Travel Center, which is less than 10 miles from here, to fill up with fuel. Sorry, I can't move over. I got an SUV passing me. Pick up whatever that thing is. I think it's a pickup. A Honda Ridgeline or something. That's a Honda Ridgeline, right? Doesn't have any badges on the tailgate. Doesn't even look like an OEM tailgate either. Or, probably had to replace it. I didn't realize until I had a pickup that stealing tailgates is a thing. And I found out because I used to have a Toyota Tacoma, and found out a lot of people were talking Tacoma forums about their tailgates getting stolen. And then I found out there's a little quick fix you can do to help prevent that from happening. So I did that once on mine. I think it worked as well because basically it's pretty simple. Down on the hinges, if you just put a couple of hose clamps around the hinges, tighten them down, here's what it is, there's like a slot, a cam and a slot. So the hinge itself is basically a cam roller, and then it goes into a slot that's on the tailgate itself, and it basically rotates. So when you unhook the little support rod things, just the little rubber support rod things, whatever, disconnect those, which are real easy to do, and then you just tilt the tailgate at a certain angle, and that's all it takes to disconnect, to totally remove the tailgate. But if you put hose clamps on around the cams, once when the tailgate's installed, basically you can wrap it all the way around, and that prevents it from being able to slide up away from the cam when you rotate it the right way. My AC all of a sudden getting hot. I think when I stop for fuel, I'm going to have to shut off my engine temporarily or something. Got 113 degree weather here, so I don't think that should be that. I'm not sure what's going on there, unless this AC system's getting iced up or something, I don't know. So it just happened like a minute ago, a couple minutes ago, where it went from kind of cold to, cold like it's supposed to be, to all of a sudden started feeling warm. Left on my clock before I have to stop for a break, at least for a 30. I have to keep tabs on my distance to Commerce. Because that's going to tell me whether I have time to take a 30-minute break, or if I'm just going to have to do 8-hour sleeper berth as soon as I stop at all. So that's why I planned my intent is to make this fuel stop and then just run non-stop from there to at least to Barstow if I can. It's going to take me over an hour to get from Moapa to the state line, and I'm going to have to go through Las Vegas to do it. Weekday afternoon, I'd imagine I'll probably have at least a little bit of traffic delay to deal with over there in the downtown area of Las Vegas, which could further add to my problems. And I have a lot of hills up and down, whatever, between Primm, at the state line and Barstow to deal with, so not to mention the 55-mile-an-hour truck limit. Now I should theoretically be able to make it to Barstow in about a couple hours after I get to the state line. I prefer to be able to get all the way to the house if at all possible, but I'm not certain that that's going to happen. Just wrong for me, where I can't go around them or risk cutting them off to get off the freeway. Now he's going to be down at 63 miles an hour. Of course, climbing a hill now, so it's naturally slowing me down. Yeah, exit 75 right here coming up is where I'm getting off the freeway at. It's hitting me from the AC system. It's too warm. It's not hot, but it's definitely not as cold as it should be. And I'm gonna have to worry about that too, because it's gonna cause the phone to run even hotter. And if it runs too hot, it'll shut down the app and kill my stream as well. Exit here I'm about to get off at. I have another video here on my channel further back of an Amazon Prime truck going the wrong way up this ramp. So when they left, I think when they left the truck stop here that I'm getting ready to stop at, instead of turning left to get on the on-ramp, they decided to turn right and get onto the off-ramp here, and then they had cars getting off the back up all the way back to the into the off-ramp. I don't want to have to shut down the truck, but because I'm worried that if shutting it down will cause the phone to run too hot and shut down the stream. So if it suddenly shuts down, you'll know what's going on there. It could be from overheating. Yeah, now I just got the cool down warning message, so I think we got to be careful with it.